Shamima, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. I was just asking Bilkis about what she makes of the discussion so far. From a feminist perspective, perhaps you say it's been male biased, but well, I'm interested to find out what you think of the discussion so far.
Very well. Well, I've followed the conversations. Let me also say good afternoon to all our viewers. For me, I think that the general atmosphere and the general reaction of most citizens give cause for us to say, you know what, let's tarry a bit slowly, let's go a bit gently, let's do a bit of review, let's find out just what is in this for us. Because at the end of the day, leaders must represent the aspiration, the collective aspiration of citizens.
Right.
And it is true that, yes, indeed, leaders are always in the best place to really know the extent of our challenge. And for security reasons, we may not always, as citizens, be privy to everything. But when something looks not too good, it looks not too good. And we cannot belabor the point at all. So for me, I think the government has to do a lot of things. And as the president prepares to address the nation, as a mother, as a citizen, I think I just need three key things from the president. I need clarity, I need justification, I need reassurance. Now, clarity in the sense that it is important for the president to explain in peace what broad policy framework is guiding Ghana's foreign policy and Ghana's dealings with other nations. So we want that kind of clarity. What is our foreign policy? What kinds of things or relationships do we work to establish with other nations? Are we still a non-aligned nation, properly so-called? What has guided the ways in which we have worked with other nations in the past collectively to solve our shared security needs? We need that clarity. And as the president gives us that clarity, we would also want to find out from him what our security needs assessment have been, if any at all have been done. Of course, I recognize the fact that the president cannot, as a matter of national security, put out whatever it is that he knows to be our security needs as a country within a sub-region which is quite unstable. We know he can't give us all the details, but we want to understand whether or not there's been some need assessment, which will then now lead to my question about justification, which will then now justify why this current government decided to extend previous engagements that we have had with, the U.S. in the form and manner in which we now are told and have come to see this new relationship will progress. So we need for him to explain and justify for us the terms as we read, whether or not some of these things were done in the past. We want to find out from the president what he makes of the deal and whether or not all the information available to him, he believes as a sovereign state, this deal is to and in our best interest as a state called Ghana.
Well, Shamima, both you and Bilkis seem to be on one side here. And quite frankly, it appears that a lot of people in the country at the moment seem to be on this side. But let me ask, what really are you afraid of? I mean, really?
I don't think it's about fear for me.
Okay.
I think it is just about a state being in full control of its destiny. I think that every nation has a right, and I would say that we need to take the advice of America's leaders themselves. I was in a meeting with President Barack Obama, and I asked him a direct question, what kind of partnerships they seek from Africa, and the president told them whether or not such partnerships can never be equitable, given the fact that we are not equal in terms of our strength and our might. The president was candid in 2010 with me. He said he's been voted by the people of America to seek first the interests of America at all times, and such should be the goal of every leader, including the leaders of our respective countries.
Right.
But he does not see that Ghana's needs or Africa's needs and America's needs clash. He thought that we were in a symbiotic kind of partnership where America provides certain drugs, certain technologies, certain equipment that Africa benefits from, and Africa provides markets for those groups. So we are in a symbiotic relationship, he says. So for me, I don't think it's about fear with this deal. We just want to know that history is not repeating itself, as we have been reminded history often likes to do.
Okay.
We just want to be assured and reassured, and that's the third arm of my demand from our president, or request from the president this evening. We need that reassurance that we have thought through deeply about this deal and other deals. This might not only be something that we're doing with America. This might just be the same things we do with every other nation, because if we are saying a Ghana beyond aid, we are talking a self-sufficient Ghana in charge of designing its own destiny. Right. So we need reassurance that we have thought through this deal, and we know that we are not going to be shortchanged as a country.
And it's good enough to go. Shamima, hold on for me briefly. Let me come back to Bilkis, because you have 3 children. How many boys?
2 boys.
2 boys. You have 2 boys and a girl. Have they asked you questions about this?
They are too young.
They're too young?
Yes, very young. My first is 6 and the last is 2.
Okay. So you get the impression that they've not really heard what's happening, or even if they have, they don't understand?
They haven't heard anything like
they haven't
that.
Because
they haven't asked me anything pertaining to that.
To that?
Yes.
Okay. I'm wondering, Shamima, have your kids asked you anything about this, or have you had any kids at all asking you about this?
Well, no, not directly. Like Bill kids, my kids are just 4, 3, and 1, and 4. So
oh dear.
Perhaps they really don't know, what's happening. All they know is that mommy likes listening to news, and they always tell me that, well, news is good, because mommy says if you listen to news, you become a great person.
So they just keep listening, but they don't really seem to understand. But I want to find out what your sentiments are. You mentioned that as a mother, these are your expectations: clarity, justification, and reassurance. But what are your sentiments as a mother? Your kids are very young, but they're going to grow. And if this deal... Right, and if this deal, stands, you may have some sentiments about what the future of your children perhaps is going to look like.
Well, I think this deal is just a reflection of the conversations we have been having since independence, that although many African nations have secured political independence, they haven't really secured their economic independence, as in the agencies of their states haven't been fully operationalized, as in political independence has not really delivered the kind of progressive societies that will meet the basic needs of the majority of its citizens. We've had these conversations. I mean, I sit in class where we have been shown how global governance institutions only seek to perpetuate the existing global power structures, the East against the West, and the poor southern states. It's still what it is. That our structure as a country, as a continent, hasn't remarkably changed since we got political independence. So if we are saying that we want to be a self-sustaining, self-sufficient nation, we want to then look at all the ways in which that cannot happen.
Okay.
And the way in which we are yoked into the global economy continues to make us hewers of water and hewers of wood and drawers of water. We are still primary recipients of finished products and exporters of primary products. Our resources are still not controlled, owned, and managed by us.
Right.
And of course, we know the levers of power. It is military, it is oil, it's been Coco, and whoever is controlling and owning the narratives around
they're basically in charge of the country.
Control your nation. So it's about identity and self-belief. Racism is still a big issue in most Western states. In fact, the African is still very much not come to his own self in terms of the dignity the African must feel in owning and being a true African.
Right.
So of the things that continue to subjugate us, whether it's
I'm losing you, Shamima, there, but I believe that you're saying this to on the back of the identity for you as a mother and someone who is thinking and have sentiments about the future of your children. You're looking at it from a purely identity perspective, which is a very profound one. Shamima, I may have to hold you on briefly.